stream started. We're gonna get the stream started. Give me just a moment, y'all. I gotta get the word out. I am in old lady slow mode, so please forgive me. Oh man, it's been a rough couple of days, so. Oh man, it's been a rough couple of days, so. Oh man, it's been a rough couple of days. So you're hearing me in double already. I feel like I'm not new at this, so I should know better. But let me just get the word out on Spoutable, and then we're gonna get this party started, whether the chat fills up or not. Okay, tell it Tuesday is on the Bonnet Chronicles are live. Boom, bam. Thank you, ma'am. All right. So, welcome to the Bonnet Chronicles, y'all. I am your host, Kalari GXC. It has already been a super busy week, and it's only Tuesday. You would think that Tuesday would only be 2 days into the week and it'd be chill, but there's been a lot that has gone on. And as you can see, let me get Betty off of here because it's really not the image I want going out with Augie's picture. This is a hard one, y'all. This is a heavy topic to talk about, and it's really not my story, but it is something that happened to people who I care about and are close to me. So I definitely want to talk about it just a little bit. As you know, I'm a D&D nerd. I have been with Dungeons and Dragons Online, a part of the community since late 2007. I have been in my guild for over 10 years now, and these people are like family. And all of us, we've had our ups, downs, our in betweens, and we've all moved on to our family lives. We have spouses that we love, children that we cherish, and we're like a extended family. So when one of us loses a child, especially, we all feel that. And with our guild leader, he was always a pillar for all of us. Whether we were learning the game or just needed a friend to talk to, Craig has always been there for us. So it is heartbreaking what he and his wife are going through right now. And we have his family, his one of his sisters, I believe, had set up a GoFundMe so that they could focus on Augie's care. Because at the time we thought, even though what he was diagnosed with was a rough diagnosis, that there was a chance. So everybody was fighting, pulling through, and then it became let's just get them funds so that they could be with him in his last moments. And then yesterday at 6 p.m., Augie passed. And it is a tough time for the family right now. And all I'm asking is if you can give the GoFundMe a look see. They haven't officially changed it over to a memorial yet. But anything that can help the family, any bit we can all give to make it easier for them right now because this is a really hard time. And I wouldn't wish this on somebody I didn't even like because it's just nobody should go through this. Nobody should know the pain of this. And it hits home because he's a friend of mine that was really turning his life around. Went back to school, got their house, they were happy. And it feels like life just kicks you when you're doing good. There's no rhyme or reason to it. And I just feel so bad for my friends right now because they were on cloud 9 when they had this child. Augie was their miracle baby. And I just don't want this to be what happened to them. I want to go back and have it where everything's fine. They get to watch him grow, and life just doesn't feel fair right now. And there's just doesn't make sense. So just like I said in the home vlog, and I mean it, hug your loved ones because you just don't know. We don't know how long our light is meant to shine on this place. And you should be doing everything you can to shine a positive or at least a non harmful light as you're here. That energy that you have that's in you should be used towards good because you don't know how long you have. And some of us don't get long at all. And the only thing I can say is that, Augie, you had two of the best, sweetest parents in the world. And I just wish they had gotten to see you grow fully, because I know you would have had the best. They loved you. The whole entire guild, or like your extended aunties and uncles, we loved you. And it's just not fair that you're not here with us anymore. And I hate to start on such a sad note, especially since I am going to be fired up today, y'all. I'm not even going to hide it. The whole title of today's Bonnet Chronicles should tell you that I'm going to be roasting some people on TikTok later on. But it is Tuesday, and it is a special election day here in the States. And I don't know why people don't get that I take politics and social issues seriously. It is how I really got my start on the internet, how I found my voice, was talking about these issues. And personal political investment is not just crap that rolls off my tongue, it's serious. Our rights to be, and awesome, Gradamir. Welcome to the chat. Our rights to be, though, are so vital to just being a little politically aware. And I was talking to Axiom Wolf about it earlier, and I mean that. There's been a collective effort over the years to instill apathy, to instill a lack of trust in the government. Well, we elect the government. It's just nonsensical to me at this point to have an anti-government sentiment and think that your city and town and state will not fall apart. Who represents us can make or break our state. And living in Michigan, whether you think it's perfect or not, we have to share this state. And I share this state with people who don't have the same values and ideal set as I do, but we all still got to live here, and I want us to live comfortably. So if you're in a district right now that is having that special election, get to those polls. Make sure your voting registration is up to date, because if you're a woman right now, you should be fearful that your rights are being restricted. If you are LGBTQ or adjacent, you should be worried. If you are black or brown or immigrant, period. Whether you think your immigration status doesn't matter because you're fairer skinned, it matters. Who represents you matters, because our rights are always the first to go up on the firing squad. And I don't want to see that happen. And it is not hyperbolic to say, because I've watched the repeal of Dobbs. Even though I vote, my voter report card is A plus all the time, because it doesn't matter where I live, I'm going to cast my ballot. It matters. I know some people think, oh, it's not going to matter. Oh, the incarceration levels for us went up. It's not going to matter. Oh, my rights to choose from my own body is gone. It matters. And it shouldn't take my old behind telling you what's at stake anymore. We've all lived through the last few years. We've all seen what can happen when we let incompetence just take the wheel. When we say, what's the worst that can happen? 4 years, I'm still shell shocked. From 2017, when we watched that doofus put himself in a position of power and literally run it into the ground, never again. And you could say everything you want negatively about our current president's age and everything else. He's getting the job done. And that is what I, as a pragmatist, want in politics. I'm not looking for a politician to be my best friend. I'm not looking for a buddy. I'm looking for somebody I can say, oh, look at that record. They're getting stuff done. We are actually feeling the positive effects of the laws on their books. You say what you want about Big Gretch here in Michigan. I know some people don't like her. No, I like the job she's getting done for our state. I like that we are focusing on EV chip making. I like that we have legalized weed, even though I don't indulge in legalized weed. But we have the option if we wanted to, because our governor realized the revenue that comes in. I like that the tax money is being funneled into programs to making us a solid state in our union. There are still aspects of Michigan that need help, but we can't just sit here acting like the state isn't feeling a positive benefit because we have people who give a damn. Is it 100%? No, but we need to elect those yahoos out. It is on us to make things better. And all we need is a small political investment, a small paying attention to who represents you and why they represent you makes a difference. Even if you're a hardline conservative, because like I like to remind people, and like I'm going to talk about tonight, I am literally with somebody whose family is what I like to tease as fundies. And I am going to get into the spiel about the fundie and what how they make me feel in just a little bit, with no disrespect, because it isn't them; it is some of the people who take it too far. But what I need you to understand about today's election is that a lot of states have specialized elections with stuff on the ballot for women's rights that you need to pay attention to. People are trying to get stuff banned, like educational wise. You need to be on the lookout for those book banners. You need to be on the lookout for those who want us to pull away from knowledge. And that is why it's so important to have that personal political investment. And I know it gets on people's nerves when some nerd gets up here and tells you how to feel about politics and social issues, but why are you watching them? Because that is what I've always been about, and I am not going to change. I'm very passionate about keeping people's eyes open to what's going on around them. And I really want people to understand that this is passionate for me because I've seen what happens when apathy drills in. And I love it when people tell me, like, Grandma, you got your voter sticker, because it does matter. It matters for us and beyond. As parents, especially, it really does matter setting this world up for our little ones, because not all of us have gone through the tragedy that I just talked about. But even they would want a better world. They were working towards a better world for Augie, and I am working towards a better world for Kiddo. Brandon is working towards a better world for his son. This is important to us. It's important to us to do the right thing. And the right thing it involves clicking on a ballot. It's not hard work if you really think about it. With the internet, there's so much information out there for us to know who's running, why they're running, and if they gel with us. And like I said, it's not about picking your best friend, even though I've had some of my friends run for office. I even speech wrote for one of them. So trust me, when you're politically involved, it pays off in dividends. And like I said, you're fundy, you might not like the stuff I say about politics and social issues, but as a pragmatist, I want better for you guys too. I don't care if you like me, I'm not trying to be your best friend. I just want stability for all of us. That is where my political leanings run. But I'm going to get to the portion of tonight that got me fired up enough to want to do this. Because I'm not going to lie, y'all. It has been an exhausting few days already with all the sad stuff. And I almost tapped out. I almost made excuses, but I don't want to do that to y'all. A, it's not fair. B, I can't use my friend's sadness as a reason to not keep pushing with this content. But what I've seen on YouTube, and yeah, I know YouTube again setting me off, and not just the foodie beauty stuff. I watch a lot of TikTok compilation stuff so that I don't have to be on that site because I'm over 40. I don't feel like TikTok is the venue for me. I've had young people, especially on Twitter, when I was on Twitter, try to argue with me that especially my bonnet shorts would do well on there, and I get that. But short form content for me on Twitter was because I was limited. If I could have did longer rants on Twitter, I would have. That's why I said, you know what? Instead of continuing to do shorts, I will do these for an hour on Twitch. I have no real interest in short form content outside the few Twitter shorts that I watch. Not Twitter, but YouTube shorts that I watch every once in a while. I'm not that into short form content. I am from the old school generation. It's like when I used to laugh at the people that got mad at ads. Ads for me, unless it's somebody I watch on the regular, because I will subscribe if I watch on the regular, it's just like the old commercial breaks that we used to get on TV. You could go to the bathroom, get stuff done, and then come back and not miss your show. So I never got that upset about ads, but I am not really from the microwave generation, as I like to call it. So for me, TikTok, as much fun as some people find it, really isn't my cup of tea because I like long form. I still gravitate to long form content on YouTube, whether it's documentaries, whether it's people talking about stuff they're into. I am more into long form content now that I'm older, and now that I use it as background noise a lot of times more often than not as well. So that is just my taste. And I know I'm not like everybody. Like I said, there's a whole generation of people that like the shorter form content. TikTok can be for you. This is the reason why it can't be for me. Now, I have Cindy Viller up here after all that spiel. She's one of my favorites. Her and I think I got the name wrong because this is a Cindy Villa. It's Nanny Camp. Both of them. They're both African women who have decided to compilate TikTok nonsense, or fuckery as I like to call it. And it's because of them I get a bit of a reality check on why I would never get anything done. I would be constantly stitching these people who say the most asinine, sometimes racist, sometimes ignorant of politics things. And this young lady from Britain set me off. And then I paused last night. Instead of ranting to myself, I was like, no, we're going to watch this together, and I'm going to break down everything that she said that was wrong. So let me get Nanny Sim up and going.
To call one another names, forgetting that you all are the same.
And I won't even agree to that, but I'll get to that in a moment.
Thing. But man, I don't support things like this. Let's get into this video.
Yes, let's please.
To me, African Americans are some of the most unwise, immature, and biggest hypocrites that I have ever seen. Because you people talk about Africa, Africa, Africa so highly when it suits you, but
and we already come out the grip with this young lady talking about all African Americans like she knows us. But I'm gonna calm down, because it gets my blood pressure already up when I hear her say that with her Empire accent, but okay.
Moment that something triggers you or makes you feel a type of way because it's not self-serving, you want to take it away, you want to strip it off, you make yourselves so much like your forefathers of America. You align yourself so much with white culture and you don't even know it. The moment...
Ma'am! Oh my gosh. This is why this is why last night, when I went off on a tangent and I was cooking while I almost burnt myself because of how aggravated that line right there. What is it about African Americans that just set so many people off? Are you jealous, honey? Is it jealousy that we set the tone, the pace? Everything that people think about Black people in general is us? I'm going to let her finish, and then I'm going to get to my volley back, because I'm a volley back hard at this heifer.
The African Americans see that we Africans believe in the Abrahamic God and that we believed in that before the 16th century. It's like, oh yeah, Africans are dumb. Africans, no, we're not looking at that part. You guys are dumb. You guys have no sense. You guys are primitive. But then when it's to talk about the will, or when it's to talk about Africans invented this or Africans invented that, when it's to go to Africa with your dusty dashiki and walking around safaris and trying to have pet lions, you people want to hail and hype up Africa when it suits you. It's self-serving. You want it for the hype, you want it for the culture, but you're not true African. The true Africans understand and know who the supreme God is. The true Africans understand and know that Christianity was in Africa way before you Americans even existed. We were here. We had an Abrahamic religion. Paganism came after that. You people are so hypocritical. You can't seek truth for yourselves. What you people are doing, you're seeking wealth, you're seeking power, you're seeking revenge against people who have done things to you in the 16th century, so much so that it's blinded you from seeking the truth, that you are the true sons of God. The same white man that enslaved you is the same white man that you people are being, and you're doing it to Africans now. I'm not the one who's suffering, but it's just really upsetting to me that a lot of these African Americans are never going to know that they are the true sons of God. They are loved by God. Do you know what I'm saying? That, you know, they're descendants of Abraham. I just really pray that you people come to seek the truth. Immature and biggest hypocrite.
Because I know a lot of people just stitched. And that dude that coming up, and I might just play his rebuttal to her after I say what I gotta say, because I tend to like a lot of the stuff he says to dumbasses on TikTok. And this is how I know I would get nothing else done responding to this. There was so much to unpack in the under 2 minutes of ignorance that Empire bitch sounding. Calm down, Ted. Let me just break it down to a few things about what she said about us not knowing Africa, because I'll even give you that slight dub. A lot of people don't understand that Africa is a continent full of different Black and brown countries, because it's not just all Black people that live in Africa, there's actually white people that are African too. In fact, I believe it's Miss Cameroon or maybe Liberia. I'm not sure. I'd have to check the notes again. Blonde, blue-eyed white woman representing an African country. But she was born there, so whatever. There's a lot that people don't know about Africa. There's some of you now that are probably watching me right now that still probably think that Africa's a third world country and everybody's just living in huts out there with lions and elephants and not understanding that there's huge cities with infrastructure. And there are many countries that exploit said infrastructure. There are wars going on in some African nations as well because it's a continent full of different countries. So yeah, I will give her that she might have had that, because this is given full Dusty Peen vibes. Them ashy brothers that are angry all the time, misogynistic, but also believe in God, the really bad Fundy type Ados motherfuckers. And I say that as a person who is an adult descendant of slaves. And I know she likes to bring it up to us like we're constantly talking about it. Ma'am, we know our history. We don't have to constantly bring it up. Hollywood likes to make a movie every few years reminding us that our ancestors were enslaved. We can't get the fuck away from it, even if we want to. But I've seen the leans of jealousy that this heifer has. Oh, you want power and wealth. We have to navigate a system that wants to enslave or murder us again. So don't get mad that we found a way to navigate and survive the system by making ourselves successful financially, because that is not even a guarantee of our survival, but it gives us a better edge. So I get it. I get where she was coming from with this. The jealousy was very palatable. But if you're going to ding Black people about not knowing about Abrahamic religion and faith and how paganism didn't come to Africa when you don't even really know all of that continent yourself until later on, bitch, you're talking to somebody who knows history. And you're talking with the fucking Queen's language and accent. If you were coming at me about not knowing Africa with an actual in African, I might have given you more props. But you're literally talking to me with a British accent, sounded like a fucking extra from Star Wars, the dark side, about what I don't know. I probably know more about the faith you're talking about than you do. Because while, yeah, my vault in the paganism is more knowledge-based, I don't ascribe to any one spirituality right now, because for me, it's all still a learning process. And I lean more towards the Asiatic celestial stuff because of how my family was split. So yeah, there's more Shinto beliefs in my system, but I started learning recently about the Orisha, about, especially with Caribbean cultures, the water spirits and other gods and goddesses that more in line to stuff that I learned from the Asiatic culture stuff. And it's almost synchronous, some of the stuff that's believed, because a lot of the belief systems can be lined up together. So when you say stuff like paganism came later, you know every African, because you sure as heck don't know every African American, and you generalized all of us like you knew all of us. Ma'am, you do realize that America and South America are huge continents themselves. We have 50 freaking states here alone. Not every African American even comes from the same walk of life. We might have some similarities in how we're viewed in this world, but I'm an old school New York African American. There are old school West Coast African Americans, old school Southern, and middle of the plains African Americans. So many of us have different backstories, backgrounds. The only similarities we have is our melanin. Some of us are called weebs and nerds and all other kinds of bullcrap names because of how we grew up and the stuff we like. We have similarities, but we have just enough differences because we are not a monolith. And I'll say it again. Black people are not a monolith. I wish, and one of the things that I'm writing in the second book, because the BHM, like I keep reminding people, are an allegory to us as a people. I wish that connection, that grand or great connection, was a real thing, that we weren't so easily separated by manipulation and people treating us as if we're not humans, just monsters. I wish people would understand the pain of feeling that dehumanization isn't what we should be striving for. We should be more connected to one another, especially in the digital age. But we can't have that because we get these sister girls, especially these young sister girls, on here spreading this toxic nonsense, this anti black nonsense from black people. And you can't make the stuff she says make sense because it's nonsensical. But you didn't have to tell us you were jealous of us. You said it all in less than 2 minutes. The power that we have, the navigating a system that's already stacked against us and finding our own wealth. Oh, that's a bad thing. Don't have material stuff, black people. You should just suffer. But if we suffer and we talk about that, then we're too lazy. You can't have it both ways. You can't hate us for striving and being better and then hate us for being oppressed. It's exhausting. And it's even more exhausting because we get it from all sides. This is what I mean when I say this shit's nonsensical anymore. You're literally using white supremacy talking points that you probably got from a dusty brother who hates women, hates himself. And I'm tired of seeing you regurgitate this. Do more people, everybody needs to learn more about Africa and treat it better. Yes. But this ain't it. This ain't helping your cause there, sister girl, especially when you've got a fucking English accent. Let me play the villain's response to her because I do tend to love when he says stuff.
That I have ever seen. Because you people talk about Africa, Africa, Africa so highly when it suits you. But the moment that something triggers you or makes you feel a type of way because it's not self-serving, you want to take it away. You want to strip it off. You make yourselves so much like your forefathers of America.
Light work number 2. Can I ask the world population, all the nations across the world, can you please get black people's fucking names out your goddamn mouths?
Exactly.
Can you?
Please.
Just
co-sign.
Before I begin, I love, respect, and appreciate the citizens of the nations of Africa.
Yes, because there's more than...
Always have, always will.
Yeah, it's a continent with countries.
With that being said...
Yeah.
What is this preemptive attack shit that y'all are doing with black folks here lately?
Jealousy.
3 weeks ago, it was Jewish people. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Because we had a difference of opinion about support. All of a sudden it's, well, I won't support Black Lives Matter.
They always want us to be their shoulders of support.
The fuck?
Gotta swear fealty. It's annoying.
We don't support your opinion about a government. You are going to pull back your support for the fact that I don't want to die at the hands of taxpayer-funded police. Now you have this woman, and her whole rant is about Christianity. What in the fuck? What the fuck is this? Everybody got something slick to say about black folk in America.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all have no problem being the thieves, coming in, stealing culture, music, food, styles, whatever.
That is what I meant, and that's what I said last night. It is funny to me that she mentions how all the stuff that we do makes her upset, that we're doing it to be more like white people. White people don't even want to be like white people right now. Get the all the way the fuck out of here with that. We're trying to be like our masters, which none of us have been enslaved for over a century now, so you need to get that out of your mouth. I don't like when people do that because it's disrespectful to our ancestors who went through that. So no, none of that. Full stop. But it does beg to question, what is it about the current crop of African Americans, whether we're in sports, music, entertainment, writing, literature, especially since I'm in literature myself? What is it about us that you get so impressed about, ma'am? Like, what is it, because we set the trends? Is it because when people think of black people, whether it's the cool black friend or the black person that is actually educated, even though you tried to do your TikTok saying that we're not educated because of some religious nonsense, is it because you know we are and it makes you mad? And people will never look at you as a black Brit as their standard black woman? I'm okay. I don't want to be the standard black woman. I do not. I think Angela Bassett should be the standard black woman. Point blank, period. She is beautiful. She's almost 70 years old, y'all. And she looks amazing. I would love it. I'd never. She is who should be the standard black woman. Okay? So when I see people like attack us like this, it don't make sense. It legitimately shocks me. But I'm gonna let homeboy finish.
Y'all have no problem coming in and stealing. And since we gonna go there, let's go all the way there. Don't go
Colonizer
there at all.
gonna colonize.
But you have enough time to, while you're in the midst of being a fucking thief, to shit on us. This is why I keep saying over and over, sometimes it really does feel like black folks in America do not have any fucking allies. We
At
don't.
all. We on our own.
We don't have any allies. We don't.
We don't. Ah, first ad. I should have known. Okay, y'all, give me just a moment. There we go.
Everybody is Paul Mooney, one of the greatest fucking lines he ever said. Everybody want to be black until it's time to be black. And then it's roaches with the lights on.
Yep.
And this preemptive attack shit is really starting to get out of goddamn hand.
It is.
Let me say this for the chief seats. I don't give a fuck where Christianity was started. I don't give a fuck where it's practiced. I see all of the Christian religion as a goddamn pestilence. I see all religions, all of them, every fucking one of them, as a pestilence. I don't see faith that way. I don't see spirituality that way. But I damn sure see our organized religions as a pestilence.
Yep. I agree.
And since she wanted to go there, then let's go all the way there. How much homophobia was on the continent of Africa, in the nations therein of Africa, before Christian missionaries brought their ass over there? The silence isn't for me, it's for you. How much hatred of Muslims and Jews were there on the continent of Africa, in the nations of Africa, before the fucking Christian missionaries brought their ass there? Is the Congo not being fucking pillaged for its natural resources now? Wasn't King Leopold of Belgium a Christian? Didn't he kill 12 million Congolese people? You want to you still want to practice religion at that motherfucker? The fuck is that? Come on, man. I'm about secularism. I believe all religions should be out of any sort of political public life. And if you all of a sudden decided to start hating gays or this, that, and the third based on that big book of bad ideas, you are a fucking idiot. The problem is a lot of black folks here in America are waking up to that shit.
Yep.
They're waking up to the idea that all organized religions bring nothing but death and enslavement.
They used it to enslave us.
I ain't the only one.
They used it to.
A lot more people are finding more faith-based ways to be one with God, or spiritual ways to be one with God, without going to that organized religion shit.
It's a personal path.
There's a whole lot of places on earth that would have been better off had fucking Christian missionaries had their ass whooped when they landed.
Yep, like the Sentinels.
When they came with that holy Bible, somebody should have knocked them the fuck out and threw their ass back on the boat and told them to take their boat the fuck up out of there. But sure, everybody got to have black folks in their goddamn mouth. Okay. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Because she made another video. It was like, I don't mean any hate. And then, no. Nah, you meant every word. Now stand on it.
Yep. Say what you mean what you say. That is Thomas the Villain Bishop. And I'm going to espouse on some of the things he said because, like I said, I don't get too heavy in the faith talk as much as I would like to because of respect to my partner. I never want him to feel like I am attacking him, but he is what I like to think non-fundamental, but he's conservative Christian. He's never hid that from me. We have actual conversations with each other. We respect each other's beliefs. He has modified a lot of the more hardline, hardcore things that he used to be fully invested in believing before. But he realized as he got older and realized that hate isn't sustainable and that there wasn't even any reason to hate people he didn't know. As he got to learn and be friends with more people and understood that, yeah, that was a side of me that I will never fully shed or can't really understand why I felt that way. It wasn't in his heart to continue to make enemies out of people. And for me, since I never really had those leans in the first place and I'm pagan, I really started to show him that, hey, this isn't knock you not understanding and feeling a certain way about your attractions and stuff. This is you minding your business and not insulting some weird moral code to people who they're not bothering you. The LGBTQ are not your enemy. Yet we have these people who they knew power and control come from telling people that you have to be this way, or you have to be this way. And as a woman right now, I don't want fundies running anything. Thank you very much. We are already seeing the throes of what they do to us. They don't even care if we live through a pregnancy because they swear it's about right to life, but whose life? And so many of them base their stuff because they swear we're just trying to be good people so that when we die, we get in this great afterlife country club. And this is what we're going to wholesale you on. We want you to be good with us because that makes it better for all of us to get in that afterlife country club. And I keep saying, you've made this life barely tolerable, sometimes intolerable with your moral rules and your regulations, and you're telling people that they can't be who they are and what they want to be. This weird pseudo control that you want to have on this mortal life. You think that you're going to wholesale me on an afterlife chain to that? Ma'am, sir, no. And I don't care if you're a fundamentalist Christian, a fundamentalist Muslim, a fundamentalist Catholic, or Jew, because I know a lot of people think that there is and there are different factions. All of you organized fundies are the same in the heart of it, though. You want to tell people what their gender is supposed to do and how they're supposed to carry themselves. You want to restrict our rights to grow and be, and it's caused nothing but mental health issues and deviations. I think a lot of the sexual deviations, especially the sexual deviations that lead to people getting attacked, especially children getting attacked, is because of the weird fundamental moral leanings pushing people to believe that innocence is better. And it is because of this sickness, this weird moral sickness, that has pushed so many good people to do horrible things. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron. Why would a good person do horrible things? Because in their mind, they think they're doing the right thing by chasing something innocent. They don't think they're being bad people by looking at somebody who has to be fresh because they're younger as innocent, and it's gross. It's disgusting, and it messes up a person. So I want you to understand my fundamental problem with these weird religious leanings. It's all rooted in the same BS. And I don't care if it originated in Africa itself. It is not a healthy thing to push moral dogma over our actual spiritual growth. For me, religion has always been a personal path. Whether you find solace in the book of the Bible and the Psalms or whatnot, whether your Bible is in Arabic, Hebrew, it doesn't matter. Your personal spiritual path is supposed to be that. It is supposed to be what makes you feel right on this earth. And it shouldn't matter if you're in a group or if you're by yourself. What you feel is that personal connection to your spirituality. The problem is we've allowed loudmouth people to twist that, to use that for their own agendas, to use that to build their own power structures and coffers. And they have taken faith and they have twisted it into this awful construct. And it has been used to do awful things. It's been used to justify war and genocide. It's been used to justify enslavement. It's been used to restrict people from just being. How much better a society would we have been if women had been allowed to flourish, grow, and learn? Some of our strides in science came from a mind of a woman. The DNA structures that we're still learning about, that was a female scientist. The current nanotechnology science that I write about in sci-fi, but this black woman is actually living it to try to figure out how to cure cancer, that's a woman. Could you imagine how much further we would be tech and medical wise if we had stopped acting like genetics and gender limits a person's ability to learn and grow? But that is what happens when we let fundies run everything into the ground, but yet we tell ourselves, well, no, they can't be bad people. They dress in suits and dresses. They smile prettily as they tell you to hate somebody because they're different than you. And they try to culturally erase and wash over anything tribal, anything native, anything indigenous, and anything black. Because we can't. We have to fit that perfect 50s image, y'all. And that is what the fundies want to do. They constantly want to roll us back. Whether it's to the 18th century, like our current House Speaker wants, or to those 1950s days that I love 1950s dresses. I think a nice A-line flare out would fit good on my fat behind. I love certain aspects of the 1950s. I don't like the racism, homophobia, sexism that was normal and rampant. I don't like the fact that people would smile in your face while drinking themselves to near death, if not doing a toxic cocktail of quaaludes and other mind-altering drugs because it was fucking miserable. Men like to talk about, yeah, we could keep our family on one income, even though we were just one bad day away from being fired and losing it all and snapping, because it was always under somebody else's decision and foot. But oh yeah, let's harken back to those great old days in the 1950s where consumerism and commercialism ran its gambit. Those crafted veneer days that so many people think is textbook Americana, and it was misery. And I say this as somebody who loves history. We need to stop playing around with this stuff. I'm telling you right now, if you're a fundy and you feel offended by what I just said or what Thomas the Bishop Villain said, I don't care. This isn't about your feelings anymore. Your feelings have been dangerous to us for centuries, so I'm not here to coddle you. If you watch my show and you're fundamental this or fundamental that, and you feel free to find a way out. I don't care anymore. This isn't about your feelings. This is about what people really say about people like me without even really knowing us. And like I said, homegirl's stuff sound like she really got some dusty peen and he made her feel a certain way and then he dumped her and now she mad and she getting on TikTok and now she had to walk it back because she knew black people were going to press her on her dumb shit. Like, no hate, ma'am. You literally called all African Americans dumb like you knew us. You don't even know that there's a lot of us. And when you say African Americans, you know there's African South Americans too. There's Afro-Caribbeans. We're all over the place, ma'am. So please keep our name out your mouth. Now let me see if there's anybody else to stitch because this was already 40 minutes.
Your bullshit is not going to get me to stop loving.
And I love hearing this. Exactly. Agreed.
But what it is going to do is, once again, it's going to fucking reiterate why I cannot stand religion.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
You are just literally another example of why the fuck I don't like religion.
Hard same.
Because you decided to get up on a Saturday morning and choose violence.
Yep.
To people that ain't even had
Thank
no...
you.
All
right,
Brandon ain't went up yet. Some still ain't even had no coffee in them yet.
Mm-hmm.
And you come up with this shit? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. when that energy is returned to you with free overnight shipping, remember, you decided to do this.
Exactly.
You did.
Ain't
So I
nobody
hope
needed
like
to
hell
toggle
everybody
violence.
comes
She
and
chose it.
takes care of that. I hope you starting to get comments from some fucking African American women and men who are gonna look at you and go, "Really? You just out of nowhere? You just decided to attack us today?" Because you started that. Remember that.
Fuck
For
around,
as
find out.
biggest hypocrites that I have ever seen. Because you people talk about Africa, Africa, Africa so highly when it's crazy because if you think I'm here to hurt anyone, like I'm really not. It's just that I understand that a lot of the things that African Americans will do as a trauma response, we black people will do as a trauma response, is that we will use our skin color to make us seem superior because of what has happened to them through transatlantic slavery. Because yeah, there must be black pride. However, I'm not talking about science void of religion. So any of you who want to come with historical facts from somebody who wants to call me a monkey and said that I evolved, that's on you. The Bible begins in Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is Iraq today. Abraham and his descendants moved.
Wow.
So-
I didn't think it could get worse with her follow up, and I know that that young lady did that to show receipts and stuff, but just listening to the ignorance that falls out of this girl's lips. First of all, hun, I didn't even want to personally attack you because I did last night. I went after that lace friend and everything else. I was heated. I don't want to personally attack another black sister girl. I don't. We are already a fucking low hanging fruit for bigots. I don't want to attack you on that level. But when I hear the ignorance that falls out of your mouth for a faith that doesn't matter to the majority of us, there are plenty of black Christians. There's probably black Christians that are sitting there shaking their head yes to this stupid shit you were saying. But there are plenty of black Christians who don't feel the need to justify where Christianity came from because it wasn't supposed to be about that. It's not about where it originated or who it originated or who created it. It doesn't matter. Spirituality is supposed to be your personal path to God and beyond. But you don't care because it's about like winning a football game for some of you fuckers. And that is why so many of us side eye and are skeptical now of your spiritual bullshit because it comes across as spiritual bullshit at this point when you have people utilizing it to say awful, asinine, judgmental, monolithic things about people you don't know. You don't sound like you've even been across the pond, ma'am. Let's keep it 100. You sound full on British. And I have mad respect for British people normally. The ones who especially didn't participate in Brexit because you knew that was some fuck shit. And you tried and you fight and you strive to make your people understand. I don't understand your fascination with the monarchy either, but I tend to leave that alone. Not my country, not my problem. We separated from y'all long ago. But what drives me up a wall with this is you with your British accent talking about my people because African Americans are my people. We might not all be the same, but they're my people, and I'm protective of my people, okay? My people who we just want to live. We just want to be here in our country because whether you like it or not, America is our country. My grandfathers, both of them, fought World War II, Korean War. I've got, when I get it out of the box, a letter from President Carter thanking my grandfather for his service. We have his flag up in my living room that they had over his coffin when he passed. My father, who I don't like to talk about a lot because it's a sore subject for me, even he served. We are a military and religious family. So I know what I'm talking about when I say that I am an American, several generations in, even though a lot of those generations were forcefully implanted. This is my country, and I ain't going nowhere. So when I hear people talk shit about African Americans due to jealousy, y'all are talking about my people. My people from the West Coast, my people from the South, my people from the East, my people from the freaking middle. Those are my people. And those are fighting words for me. You don't have to like us. You don't even have to know us because you clearly don't. But you need to keep our names out your freaking mouth. Because it was infuriating to me hear her try to justify that it was about a religion that most of us, if we can be 100% honest, don't care about. There are black Muslims, there are black Judean and Jewish people, because there's some weird branch off with that. I know in New York, especially, there was these weird wannabe Zionists that tried to be very anti-Semitic. That's why I separate them from actual black Jewish people who are Hasidic and are actually of the faith and culture, because there are some weirdo, really anti-Semitic people out there that try to incorporate, say they were the first. It's weird. And it needs to stop because none of that shit should matter in spirituality. But that's what I mean about people who pretend, people who seep in that hate, people who use dusty peen logic to utilize for faith leans, and people who use anti-blackness when they're black. They're all over. And that's why I agree with Thomas when he said what he said about feeling like we don't have allies and we're being attacked from all freaking sides. Now, I almost paused with the whole thing about what was going on in Israel and Gaza, too, because that's still such a touchy subject. And as people I love are suffering right now, people I love that happen to have both Israeli and Palestinian roots. That is the complexity of being from New York. That is the complexity of making friends with people from all over the world. That is the complexity with knowing that people are dying as we speak. And I don't have the luxury of acting like I know everything that's going on over there. The only thing I know is that innocent people shouldn't die at the hands of anybody. But it's not enough because people want you to choose the side. And that's why I said what I said to Bonnet Chronicles ago, and I mean it. I'm on the side of peace. And if you can't come at me with talks about peace, don't fucking come at me. I don't care anymore. Because we have enough work to do here in the States, where I live, where my people are still navigating a system that is stacked against us. Where women in my country are still navigating a system that's stacked against us. Even though some of you want to be gatekeepers for the shit because you think you will get special privileges. I don't have time to deal with other people's irrational jealousy of a flow and a system that we learned to navigate long ago and that we do it better. I can't help it that we do it better. We had to. It's part of our survival. It is encoded in us to survive. And that is why we do what we do and how we do it. And because of it, the world likes our sway, our flow, our way of being. And I can't help it that we set the standard on what's considered African, even though a lot of us do not have the cultural ties and roots to the continent anymore. I'm sorry that our level of blackness is the cool level of blackness. Even dorks like me. But that's just the way the world works. Step up your A game. Make it where people think of Black Britain as actual black then. But stop being haters. It's really a lame look at this point. That's all I got for that. It's really lame to sit there and be mad at African Americans for living and surviving. Yeah, some of us do bring up the horrors of the past because we don't want to get dragged back to it. But we do that because we know our history. We know that you have words for us. We know that you think we're the lost children, that we were just the throwaways. No, we are the survivors. And we are the descendants of those survivors who have had to navigate Jim Crow, unfair, illegal practices against us. Fuckers can roll up in our houses, murder us like Breonna Taylor, and literally get away with it. And it's fuckers that look like me that help that. Because they are so indoctrinated in keeping this fuckshit system in place that they will let them roll up in our house, murder us in our sleep. Brianna was sleeping. She was an EMT. She worked her whole entire life helping people. This is why my ass stays chaotic neutral. I will help those I care about, but I'm about helping me and mine first. Because you have to be to survive that in this system. Especially being black in this system. She was a helper. She was a doer. She gave her all to try to save lives, and they rewarded her with a bullet. She was laying in her bed, sleep. But this is what that heifer's jealous of? This is what she thinks we're with. Just say you don't know us, ma'am. Just say you don't understand us and that you don't like the fact that people think that we're the standard and we're cool. Because I get that. I get the jealousy. I just don't understand why you need to get on TikTok and espouse it so easily. Why you needed to put our names in your mouth and choose violence and not think you were going to get it slapped right back at you. I don't understand what she thinks she's saying when she doesn't know us. And I want more people to know and understand. Now, let me see if anything else is said.
I don't know what to say. I'm kind of shell-shocked. I mean, this person claimed African Americans are hypocritical, unwise, which is just another word for unintelligent. They're like the white people of the black diaspora. It's really weird to think about, though, because I can bet that 90% of these UK Africans that go on these xenophobic, anti-African American rants have never met an African American in real life and
Exactly.
get their facky facts offline.
Exactly. They either get it from Hollywood's portrayal of us, which, you know, we're either crackheads, drug dealers, gang members, gang bangers, or former slaves. There's very rarely any portrayal of us as actually successful. The Cosby Show was one of the few and far between. A Different World, which was adjacent to the Cosby Show. Because before we found out what we found out about Bill Cosby, he did try to push the whole narrative of black families being presentable, being that pillar of society. And as somebody who grew up in African American middle class and above wealth, it drove me nuts seeing us constantly struggling. The only other shows I had growing up was Good Times and The Jeffersons, which was like vastly, because Good Times was a struggle and The Jeffersons was rags to riches. And it was just like, they couldn't write us as just being successful, and not just being successful because we could go into business, which a lot of African Americans were good, successful business owners. My granddaddy, along with one of them, but also those educated black people, which was the first jaunt with the Cosby Show. It was one of the reasons why so many of us loved and celebrated the Cosby Show, because here you had a black doctor and a black lawyer together, a power couple with their kids in a beautiful brownstone, just going through the motions. That felt real for once. And then they followed up with shows like Living Single and Martin, and we started to see black culture represented from different sides of America, different coasts for, well, not really with Living Single and The Cosby Show, because that was set in the East Coast, but you know what I mean. You got to see different levels of successful black people on television finally, and we had to fight for that representation. We're still fighting to have it without it being relegated to BET, without it being a reality show where we fight each other like idiots for attention and stuff. I think what messes me up with this young lady's narrative, and it's like this other lady who decided to tape her response without being on camera, which I understand. I don't hide myself, so I don't know. It's the fact that so many of these black British people say this shit about us when they don't know us. They don't know any of us. Or if they met one of us, they had a negative interaction with one and they assume that we're monolith again. And it's just infuriating. And I just want people to stop giving in to this easy, low-hanging fruit of hate. Now, I'm sure that several, because like I said, this is 41 minutes long, people gave really good rebuttals. So I will definitely link this channel so that you can watch the rest of it if you want. It was just so infuriating to me, and I knew I could definitely go a full hour just picking apart that. But it was bad enough I had to open with the tragedy of what happened to my friend's child. And I don't want to stop reminding you of how precious life is. Getting worked up and upset might be a little bit fun for me from time to time, but the reality is when I log off of this, I'm going to go hug my family. I'm going to go spend time with the people I love because we are not promised anything, y'all. It's not just my spirituality speaking when I say this. Our time on this earth for now, and I say for now because I even write about it, eventually a human's going to unlock that infinite time. I believe it. It's encoded in our DNA. I